Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of HomeKit Insider, the only, and I mean the only podcast where you can see and hear Mr. Steven Robles dancing to a horde of Gregorian monks chanting, "Matter, HomeKit," for an hour. Only podcast you can do that.
That's it. Now listen, you say Gregorian chant like you're a joke. I took a music history class because I was a music major back in the day. So I know some Gregorian chant, okay? I can pick out the epitaph of Sikilos from a mile away, okay? Yeah.
We know what you do in your spare time.
How do you like them apples? That's exactly what I do. I'm waiting for Apple Music Classical to feature Gregorian chant in a playlist.
Of smart home terms.
Those smart home terms. I'll love to see that. Andrew, we got a ton of news coming up right here in this episode, and then there's a little event tomorrow. I don't know if you've heard about it. The Wonderlust iPhone 15 event
is did hear something about that.
Yeah, something. So we'll get to that in a second because you got some fun things to show off too. A 5-star review, but actually kind of a 3-star review. I couldn't tell what their intention was, but this was Endo 1976 from Australia. The written review was glowing. It says, loves the show, all this great stuff, but he gave us 3 stars. So I'm not sure what that means. I don't know if that was an accident. I don't know if I don't know what it means. But loves the show. He did say that he wishes there were more HomeKit devices available in Australia. I guess many of the things we talk about obviously are not available there. Maybe that's where the 3 stars come from, which, I mean, I don't think it's our fault, but, that's fine. Listen,
you did sign that petition to prevent the exporting of HomeKit devices to Australia, Steven. I saw your name on that petition.
We did. Yeah, I
for whatever reason. We're going to hold you responsible.
Okay, well, that's fine. Also, one other follow-up. This is a Mastodon user, the old Granny, which I think has reached out to us in the past. This was just a cool automation trick I thought was pretty slick. When you set up automations in the Home app, users I think would be familiar with this. When it comes to sorting them, there's no real option to sort. It sorts it in alphabetical order, and you can title your automations, so you can change what is actually displayed, which then affects the order. And old Granny has a strategy where she has a bunch of automations that run when no one's home, and then other automations that run when somebody is home. And in order to quickly tell which is which, she prefaces whatever the automation name is with either NH for nobody home or SH for somebody home. And I thought this was pretty slick. I mean, I guess you could also just number your automations if you really want to have some at the very top or some at the bottom, because there are some automations. But at least
that way they're grouped.
Right, these would be grouped, and there are some automations that I turn on and off sometimes. Like my studio here, I have an automation where when I open the door, I have an Aqara, the F1 contact sensor, whatever the Matter contact sensor is. It's the P1, the X1, the X-Wing.
P1 maybe? No,
I think it's
P1's the presence sensor?
P1 is the presence sensor.
I don't know no more.
I don't know no more. I think it's the F1. But anyway, the Aqara Matter contact sensor, when I open the door, my whole studio, the shades open and the ceiling fan turns on, which is great if I intend to walk into the office and start working, but not great if I'm in the middle of filming and I have to go to the bathroom and come back, because then the whole room changes. And so that's an automation that I'll sometimes turn off. And so being able to order it and group it accordingly, it's a nice tip. So thanks, old Granny, who's a HomeKit expert apparently, which is awesome. It's great. All right. Apple event tomorrow, Andrew. It's happening. It's happening. We finally have. We're going to have a new device, new things to actually to just spend everything, all of our money on. Now, you have models, right? You made a video where you had all the colors, right? You have all these different models? Okay.
Yeah, and we're going to find out tomorrow how accurate everything is.
I mean, the colors are so dull, I feel like it has to be accurate. I feel like they're so bland. Oh, my goodness. Like a deck of cards.
Here are our iPhone 15 models.
Right, okay? Look at that.
So we got a pinkish red. I do like the blue. We got yellow, black, and white.
Now, you said yellow. That looks very teal or seafoam green to me. Does that look yellow to you?
I mean, well, we're pastel. In the pastel world, it's just a muted yellow, I would say.
Viewers, please tell me if you think that's yellow or green, because this is a black and purple dress, white and gold dress situation. The blue's nice. I like the blue nice.
I do like the blue.
Feels very Eastery. All of these feel very Eastery. Very pastels, very...
Yeah, I can see that.
Cadbury egg.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's check out the pros.
The pro models where you have gray, medium gray, a dark gray, and light gray. Those are the colors this year.
So first, I really like the silver one here, just white. I've been debating on going silver for so long, but some of these other colors actually might tempt me this year. So we just have a silver or a white.
Can't even tell. Look, I have a white too. Look at that. I like the silver.
I know, but it's not that white on that one.
No, it's a little.
I don't know.
It's a little less. Okay, this
we
is
have
the
space black here.
space black, right? Okay.
Just all black. Space
Looks a little blacker than normal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the one, and we've seen a couple different names for this, but Titan gray or carbide gray.
Carbide gray. Okay, that looks pretty cool though. Yeah, I like that gray. I like that gray. Yeah, I like that gray.
So I do like that one. So honestly, I'm not sure because I've been wanting like an actual matte black iPhone. So with the frosted back, that's gonna be matte. The sides are supposed to be that matte titanium. Maybe the space one is the one that I want, but the new one, the gray one, is really cool. And then we have
here it is. This is William's
this guy,
phone.
our only color option.
It's like a bluish.
It looks kind of like Pacific blue, if I remember exactly, like what 12 series.
Yes, yes. 13 was Sierra
this one
blue.
Looks pretty cool.
That looks cool. I mean, I went with the Sierra blue on the 13, and then I went silver with the 14. So I might go color again. Okay, I could see that. I could see that. Anyway, I'm excited.
We've gotten dummies from these sources before, and they've been really, really spot on. I mean, these phones are boxed up, ready to go. So these phones are well established. There's marketing materials and everything else. There's plenty of places for these colors to leak out of for them to mimic with these models. So I would trust them so far. I mean, these are going to be, I feel like, as accurate as we're going to get before the event. But it'll be curious if this is what we see.
We're going to find out tomorrow. We're going to find out for real tomorrow as you listen, because all HomeKiteers listen on the day of release for this show. But, yeah, so which one are you buying? You go big. I know you go Pro Max, right? You go big.
That's the thing is I always have so I went with the Pro Maxes like when there was like a tangible value to it other than just the screen size. Like when they had like, the portrait lenses on there, the portrait cameras.
I think it'll be like
a
this
couple
year.
Video modes.
It'll be Periscope. The Periscope will be on the Pro Max.
Yeah, exactly. But I've gotten so used to the regular sized phone.
I like the regular.
Like it makes me a little nervous because I do have like the big ones in the studio here. Like this is the 14 Plus, and it just almost feels like a little unwieldy to me anymore. Like coming from what I have, like this doesn't like get me excited to switch up to like this massive bigger screen. The only thing I think I kept waiting on was Apple to do something with this screen to like take advantage of it more, and it hasn't. So it's made me a little disappointed on the big phones, but I think with a periscope lens, I don't think there's any way I can't get
the Pro Max,
the Ultra, whatever they want to call it. Yeah. So I'm probably gonna have to get it, and I don't know what color. I think you're gonna have to see Apple's images first, because they all look pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the blue Pro Max. I think I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna finally force myself to get used to the larger size so I can have better battery life and a better camera and just have a surfboard in my pocket. But I work from home. My phone is basically sitting on my desk all day anyway. So anyway.
I know, which is why I actually like having the smaller one. Because when I go out, I like having a smaller one, and when I come home, I can use my iPad mini.
You're already making making the decision more difficult. I was decided on the Pro Max. Man,
I'll tell you, like we travel quite a bit. We got the kiddo. We got the doggos. I like taking photos, and I want like the best camera. Like that's just always going to be the important thing for me. So regardless of everything else, I think I have to go with it just for that.
Gotta get the best camera. The best camera. All right, well, stay tuned. I mean, Andrew's going to have a ton of videos, lots of news on AppleInsider.com tomorrow. The event happens Tuesday, September 12th, 1 p.m. Eastern. You can watch it live either on Apple's website or on their YouTube channel. And then, we'll have all the news.
Don't get scammed on YouTube, folks. This happens every year.
Yes.
Live streams will pop up of people saying like Apple Wonderlust keynote, and they'll trick tens of thousands of people. No, they're not.
Yes.
They don't even rebroadcast. They show like the loading logo, then they'll play like an old keynote video until people finally realize. Because for your average folks, they don't know. So yeah, YouTube.com/Apple or Apple.com/events or
That's
in the
the one.
TV app on any of your devices: iPhone, iPad, Apple TV, Mac.
Exactly.
Go to those places. Don't search it or anything.
And Andrew's going to have recap videos. I'll have a recap podcast. I try to get it out in minutes after the keynote is over, and I've been under an hour, so we'll see. I'm going to push to try and get it done. So it'll be out there. Now, even more important news. Something is different behind you, and I have to know what this is. I see Pac-Man with some ghosts chasing him. What is that? Is that the actual thing?
I think we looked at the Bowser before.
Yeah, Bowser's ridiculous.
That I had.
Ridiculous.
Bowser's still here.
Wow.
But this might be one of the coolest.
Please don't drop this. This is gonna be the worst video. What did?
Yeah.
What did you see that thumbs up appear on your screen?
Yes.
That was the macOS Sonoma feature. It just automatically came up. Okay, now wait a minute. Is this this is a Lego, right?
Yes, this is like I don't know why this is specifically not in focus. No matter where I move it,
Your eyes. It's focusing on your eyes. I'm sure.
I know, but this is like level with my eyes. Like, why is that not in more in
Oh,
focus?
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
But check this out, Steve. There's a little thing outside. You can move it, and
my
Pac-Man
goodness.
will move around, chased by the little ghosts.
Insane.
The joystick, like moves around.
Oh my
These little
word.
buttons here will light up.
Sheesh.
We got our little coin holder
Yes.
there.
Oh my
There's
word.
a scoreboard at the top, and you can actually adjust it, and it'll change the score.
Insane.
You got the
Insane.
ghosts on top, and boom,
Oh, whoa! I didn't know it was going to do
boom.
that. They turned blue as though you just ate one of the big dots. Oh
And
my
one
word.
more secret. The back has a little
What is about
handle.
to happen?
This pops off, and there's a little vignette scene here in the bottom of a retro old arcade with mini scale versions of the Pac-Man game hanging out.
Please don't drop this. It's so precarious looking right now. This is insane. This is a Pac-Man Lego. You have to go to youtube.com/HomeKit Insider to see it. Insane. Andrew has the most insane Legos, making me want them. I want one.
It's pretty cool.
I want one.
It's
I'm
pretty
just
cool.
I'm just gonna get the question mark block from Mario. This is gonna be a big yellow block.
I have it.
Oh, so cool. Oh my word. You got all the coolest Legos. Anyway. All right. So they're very cool. Check out the YouTube channel if you want to see that. But let's get into some news because we have a ton of news. This has been rumored. It was leaked by The Verge, and now it is official. The Sonos Move 2 has been announced by Sonos. It's actually up for pre-order right now, shipping later this month in September. And it has supposedly better battery life, stereo support because it has 2 tweeters at the top, not just one like the previous Move. Plus it has a woofer in the middle. Has an updated charging base, and it has a line in, or at least you can use the adapter, USB-C to line in adapter if you want to do that. AirPlay 2, obviously, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, all of that. So tempted by this. It looks so good. I love the Move.
It's really cool. I mean, aside from the fact that it comes in a new olive green, colorway, which is pretty cool.
That is very nice. Yes.
24-hour battery life is nuts. It's crazy.
Yes.
They also reduced the power consumption on standby mode by 40%. So when you just leave it sitting there off of its cradle, it's still going to last even longer just in standby mode. Like I said, or like you said, it does have line-in support, but you need to buy their USB-C line-in adapter, which acts as a DAC. But at least you have that as an option. Also, and I remember specifically, so I was in New York for the launch of the original Move, and I'm like, hey, this seems like a big battery. Why don't you have it charge your phone? And they're like, well, we don't think people are going to want to charge their phone here. We also want to optimize battery life best for the Move and not drain it on your phone or something. All kind of just a few different common sense reasons or excuses of why they didn't do that. But apparently now, when they got double the battery capacity or whatever, they're like, yeah, that's cool. Let's charge your phone. So now you can use that USB-C port as a power output to power up your iPhone while you are away. So that's a really nice addition.
Very cool.
This can also connect to Bluetooth and Wi-Fi simultaneously, which means people can connect to this over Bluetooth, and then that will actually jump it to your Sonos system on Wi-Fi and stream to all of your other Sonos speakers in the house. So I think that's a really cool feature.
Oh my goodness, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
They upgraded to Bluetooth 5 and Wi-Fi 6. kept the same IP65 water and dust resistance. You can leave this outside. It'll withstand rain. Maybe not withstand Florida, but it'll withstand rain.
Nothing withstands Florida. Nothing is safe here. Nothing.
Yeah, it's a very good upgrade, even though it is a little bit more expensive.
Man, that is very cool. Well, I didn't see this anywhere in the reporting, or maybe I did, but you won't. I doubt you'll be able to pair this with the Move 1 for a stereo pair, right? That's probably going to be
correct. I think you need 2 of these for the stereo pair. I'm interested in how the stereo sound already sounds, because it does sound, it has a very broad, sound stage at the moment, which is the first one, and we love, like I use that first one all the time.
Yeah,
yard
same.
work, going to the pool. We just pick this thing up, take it with us. It's phenomenal. And by putting in like those dual tweeters facing more left and right, I'm wondering how much more definition we're going to get, stereo definition.
Right.
But it's really cool. I'm wondering how much of a difference it'll be. But yeah, you have to pair 2 of these together. You can't go this plus the original. Still has TruePlay tuning in, so as you move it around, it'll adjust its sound, all that kind of fun stuff. Oh, and updated controls that are borrowed from the Era 300 and 100.
Right. And I think there's a physical mute switch for the Assistant, which I don't think the previous one. I don't think I even had the Assistant. The first Move.
I don't know because I don't use them.
I don't use
it. It's Amazon Assistant or
right.
the Sonos Assistant, and I don't use either.
Yeah, I don't either. So anyway, very cool. It's official, and you can pre-order it right now, coming September 20th, $450. And I know that sounds like a lot for a speaker, but I will say, I mean, the Move 1 sounds amazing. Like, it sounds really, really good. I imagine this Move 2 is going to sound even better, obviously. So, yeah.
The one thing they kind of do in their pitch, which I actually agree with, so I'm not just trying to parrot their marketing material at you guys, but they position this as like a standard speaker in your house. Like, this would replace, like,
right.
a HomePod or something that is permanently affixed in your house. It's heavy, chunky, it looks nice, it has a stand, so it stays in place, but then you have that ability to pick it up and move it, whether it's room to room, outside, or just take it with you wherever you are.
Right.
That's the difference, and I think that's what gives it such a better value, because it does replace that room speaker, a standard bookshelf speaker, but it goes with you. I think a lot of portable speakers, you don't want to put, on your shelf. You don't keep it there, mounted, ready to go at all times.
Right.
You have like a portable one and you have a home one. This is supposed to be both.
Very cool. Yeah, very true. I use it outside. I love it outside. I keep it outside. And so it has survived Florida, at least under a patio. I wouldn't put this like outside, like totally unprotected, but on a patio outside, it has survived. So is the Sonos One SLs. I actually have a pair of one outside. They live outside, so they get a lot of heat, but it is covered, so it doesn't get rained on. And they've survived. Over a year we've had them. So anyway, Move 2, link in the show notes if you want more info on that. And we have even more news, but before we get to that, we're talking about outside, being outside on the patio. Imagine looking out onto your backyard, Andrew, and just seeing a lush, just amazing foliage and gardens brought to you by one of today's sponsors, which is Fast Growing Trees. It's fall planting season, Andrew. It is the fall time. Now is a great time to get some plants that time of year and beautify either your backyard, maybe get some potted plants at fastgrowingtrees.com. Andrew, have you ever tried to get a plant or buy a tree from a hardware store, like going to Lowe's or Home Depot or something?
It's not great. I feel like they are stressed when you try to buy them. They
That's
give
true
you
too.
they basically just say, hey, good luck, you're buying this, and good luck, don't come back to us if you have problems. And I have done it. It is not a great experience. You got 2 tree options left too, because unless you buy them in the first week or two that they're there, so it's hey, do you want this scrawny little one that looks like it's half dead already? It's full price. Do you want it? That's your option when you go to the big box stores. Don't do it.
That's not what happens with fastgrowingtrees.com. That's what happens when you try to go to hardware store. Plus, you got to put it in your car. It gets dirt everywhere. You got to drag it to your car, then drag it from your car into your house or whatever. No. here's what you do. You go to fastgrowingtrees.com because their experts curate thousands of plants so you can find the perfect fit for your specific climate, location, and needs. I have ordered multiple times from Fast Growing Trees. I tell them that I'm in Florida, and they say, "Are you sure you want to do that?" And I say, "Listen, I'm already here. Okay, I need something that's going to survive in Florida, and it's going to survive Florida, man." And they do it. They say, "Listen, okay, we know where you're at. These are the plants, the shrubs, the trees that are going to survive." I've gotten persimmon trees. I got a Carolina Reaper bush with some peppers, and I even got a peanut butter fruit tree, which is crazy. It's like fruit that tastes like peanut butter. Got it all from fastgrowingtrees.com. It's a fun thing to do kind of with the whole family, too. You get to like sit down and look at all the foliage, and you never have to leave your house. It gets shipped right to your door. It's wonderfully packaged. And if you've never had a green thumb, which is like me, I guess I'm a city slicker. I don't know how to grow stuff. I mean, Andrew has like a whole farm in his backyard. But they have experts available 24/7 with advice that will help you make sure all your plants thrive, whatever you get from Fast Growing Trees. Like over 1 million happy Fast Growing Trees customers across the country. You can buy like them too. And they have a 30-day Alive and Thrive guarantee, and you can trust everything will be healthy for years to come. So, HomeKit Insider listeners, you get 15% off your entire order when you go to fastgrowingtrees.com/HomeKit, but only, here's the kicker, through October 15th. So you have 1 month. October 15th, that's 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com/HomeKit, fastgrowingtrees.com/HomeKit for 15% off until October 15th. So go there now. Link is in the show notes too. Our thanks to fastgrowingtrees.com for sponsoring my foliage. No, for sponsoring the show. So, all right. More news. We got more news. This is HomeKit cameras coming from Tapo/TP-Link. TP-Link is like the parent brand. I think Tapo is one of their like subordinate brands. Supposedly these might be coming soon. These were over at IFA, I guess, which was the conference that was happening in Berlin last week or 2 weeks ago as you listen to this episode. And so these might be some HomeKit cameras coming, but not HomeKit Secure Video, it seems. It seems like these are just HomeKit cameras, and that would support Matter, but again, not HomeKit Secure Video, which is unfortunate. I'm a HomeKit Secure Video or bust guy. I don't mess around. So, but looks cool. TP-Link, they'll have more HomeKit cameras for you. Did you hear anything about these from all the IFA coverage or anything? I don't think there's anything else really either.
I have not, but what I always think is like, Mophie's just, not Mophie, I'm sorry, I'm reading about, I have my article from Mophie pulled up, but TP-Link, like, they've been like so wishy-washy on the HomeKit stuff, and it's been crazy. So
Yeah,
they were
it's
like,
true.
hey, no HomeKit, and then they were like, hey, kinda HomeKit.
Kinda
and
HomeKit.
now they have been adding more HomeKit stuff, which is great. It's really, really good. I am very, like, proud of them for doing more HomeKit stuff. So I'm excited about it. I think we're gonna get a lot of camera stuff soon for HomeKit because I think Matter support is going to be pretty imminent. So I think middle of 2024 is when we get. We'll talk about Matter in a moment here, but I think we're going to get a lot more coming soon. But I'm excited that TP-Link is actually embracing HomeKit more than it was.
Okay, very cool. Also at IFA, Sensibo, which is a brand we've heard before. They make an air purifier as well. This is a Blaze, and I'm going to try and say this right, a thermostatic radiator valve. That is a mouthful. Thermostatic radiator valve. This is basically for the EU. I don't think this is coming to the US, but this is one of those things. I think Eve just announced one of these as well over at IFA. They're doing their Eve thermo thing, and it's the same kind of for that. Whatever that is. People in the EU, I imagine you guys know what this is. I do not. But it's a Sensibo thermostatic radiator valve. There you go. You could say that 10 times fast. So, boom. Now, you put something in here. I'm a big home theater guy. I've talked about it a lot. I have a Dolby Atmos system in one of my rooms with a bunch of speakers. So talk to me about Dolby FlexConnect. What is this?
This is pretty cool. So Dolby obviously is just big in the theater space. And for your home setup, you're going to have like Dolby Vision, which is going to be your HDR, your better version of HDR for your sets. You're going to have Dolby Atmos, which is going to be your audio, capabilities,
Surround,
your 3D audio, surround, all that kind of stuff. And now we have something called Dolby Atmos FlexConnect. And basically, This is a new technology that Dolby is introducing to wirelessly connect your speakers to your TV. So this wouldn't go to like your set-top box or anything, but it would basically connect it basically directly to your TV. And I'm really curious to how this could work. Like theoretically, you could almost have like your Dolby, your like Sonos soundbar would wirelessly connect to your TV. So instead of going through ARC, it would be able to just pair using FlexConnect with no additional cables. And it could go to your rears, your ceiling mounted ones, everything, all wirelessly. And they're basically just developing their own standard that's going to be above and beyond what we have available today. That's kind of hobbled together and everyone has their own way of doing things. So I'm pretty excited to see how this will evolve.
Yeah, I mean, just the ability to do it wirelessly, which it's interesting because Sonos is kind of like the standard for this. I think Sony has an option, maybe wireless, maybe Bose does too, but I feel like Sonos, like if you want an immersive home theater Dolby Atmos audio setup, the Sonos immersive set, which is like a Sonos Arc with a Sub Gen 3 and now 2 Era 300s as rear speakers, like it's just an incredible audio experience. You know, $2,500 for all of that, but if you look at actually buying a receiver and all the individual speakers, you're going to be getting close to that, if not way more, depending on the speakers. I might have said it on this show before. When I was investigating in-ceiling speakers for the house we were building, I went to Best Buy and I was like, show me your best in-ceiling speakers. I want to go all out. And they were like, yeah, okay, $1,000 per speaker. $1,000. And I was going to need 6 plus the center channel. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing that. So show me the 2 for $200 deal, and I'll go with those. So, you know, you could spend any amount. But this will be interesting because I assume will open up, disconnecting that kind of like what is the speaker ecosystem, whether it's Sonos or Sony with individual speakers, and then also your TV. So, yeah, more options to get Dolby Atmos I think is great. And Dolby Atmos, if you're not familiar, like 5.1, 7.1 home theater, you know, there's different channels, obviously. Dolby Atmos is supposedly the ability for the sound system and then the movie audio track to like place a sound in 3D space in the room. So if you have like a proper Dolby Atmos setup and you're watching Star Wars and an X-Wing is supposed to fly like over your head from like behind you to like off to the left side or whatever, like Dolby Atmos can, with all the processing, like place it in 3D space, and that is like the accuracy and the immersiveness of that kind of surround sound, as opposed to something just like coming out of the back right channel and then trying to like fake positioning or whatever. So that's the power of Dolby Atmos, and I try to do as much in Dolby Atmos as possible. Dolby Atmos is supported with the Sonos stuff, supposedly a pair of HomePod 2s, but I also feel like I don't know if I could place it like as well, but you know, that's what Dolby Atmos is. Sorry, I was nerding out on some home theater stuff because it's exciting. But anyway, okay. So we'll look to see what's coming out there. Now, this next thing, too, Andrew put this in there. I don't know. That Midea, not the movie character, I assume. This is something different, right? Sorry, was that a bad joke?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things here that are small. We can kind of just, let's combine these two together, Stephen.
Okay.
Let's talk about the Midea Matter stuff as well as Amazon and their Matter stuff. So I don't actually know if we talked about this last week, but Midea did introduce the first window AC unit to add Matter support, which is really cool.
Cool.
And now they are showing off a dishwasher with Matter. Yes.
I like it.
So,
okay.
Stephen,
Tell
if
me more.
you are familiar with your Matter categories,
Yes.
I don't know of a dishwasher category.
No. And this is,
Yes.
I actually just had to look this up the other day because I think The Verge, and friend of the show, Jennifer Toohey, has an article talking all about every smart home. Here it is. Every smart home device that works with Matter. And I'll put this link in the show notes too. But right now, it is security cameras, robot vacuums, home appliances, home router and access points, garage door, indoor quality sensors, smoke CO detectors, energy management, water management, EV chargers, ambient motion and presence, television, streaming video players. No dishwashers. No dishwashers.
Home appliances could be, but like robot vacuums aren't in Matter either. So I don't know what this list is supposed to be.
Right. Let's see. Home appliances and robot vacuums were slated to come in the first update, but Matter 1.1,
Okay, there we
which
go.
came with no device.
Yeah, so that brings me to my next point.
Okay. I'm
If you
sorry.
look at the PR
Roadmap.
for Midea, keep
Yeah.
that up.
Okay.
If you look at the PR for Midea, it actually says when this is released, it'll coincide with the Matter version 1.20, which is supposed to be coming this year. I can't find anything specific because I'm sure it's part of for people who are in the CSA, and I probably could do a little more digging to find it. But it seems like version 1.2 of Matter, 1.20 of Matter, is going to add things like home appliances and those RoboVacs, like Jennifer Toohey says there, that were supposed to arrive in 1.1 but never did. So in version 1.20, we might actually get RoboVacs and home appliances in Matter, which means those are going to work in HomeKit. We're going to get RoboVacs, home appliances in HomeKit with 1.2, I think.
Okay, listen. I'm 100% down with this conspiracy theory. I want all of it. I want all of this to happen. So yes. Okay. I also found for clarity. I'm getting excited now. Okay. This part of the article shows the devices that are currently supported: light bulbs, plugs, locks, thermostats, blinds, sensors, televisions, bridges, wireless access points, stuff like that. And then later in the article, which is what I was looking for, was supposedly the device types that are coming with 1.1, and for some reason I lost it, but that are not available yet. Now, Matter 1.1 is supposedly out, as I was saying. That came out in May, and so now we're looking for Matter 1.2. And so that should be hopefully the next big thing. Now, my question to you is, Andrew, okay, Matter 1.2 comes out. Let's say the conspiracy theory is true. We get dishwashers, we get home appliances, we get robot vacuums. This is the page on Apple's website that talks about accessories that work with Apple Home. Now, missing from this page are things like appliances and robot vacuums. Does Apple have to add those devices to the Home app spec in order for those Matter devices to actually be added to Home? Or is it like any device Matter supports, Apple Home supports automatically? Do we know this?
We do know this. And
okay.
Yes, Apple needs to make the update, which is part of what the Amazon thing here is. So basically the CSA has not been enforcing companies to support every part of Matter, which is making things difficult. That's why we didn't see Philips Hue introducing support until now, because there are holdouts like Amazon didn't allow you to add bridges to Matter, and neither did Samsung SmartThings. So Philips Hue was like, hey, if we add Matter to our bridge, it will still only work with Google Home and HomeKit, because SmartThings and Amazon have not added bridge support. So we now have bridge support with Amazon, which is our next new item. That Amazon did add bridge support, which is why we're now getting Hue and everything coming on board. But it brings up that bigger issue of like pieces of Matter that aren't supported. So Matter will introduce this spec. They're like, hey, this spec is like finalized. It's almost like a Wi-Fi spec. So it's like, hey, here's the new specification, and then everyone must adopt it. So you have to, you have to add a Wi-Fi, the new version of Wi-Fi support to the iPhones with a new model. And similarly with this, Apple, Amazon, Google, they all have to go ahead and adopt the latest spec. So Apple will need to update the Home app to support Matter 1.2, as well as all of their home hubs, which I'm sure they are doing. If it's not already baked in to 17, we'll find out, I guess, soon. But yeah, they'll have to bake that in to the actual update. There's another thing that's not here that we talked about. Eve, you mentioned their new thermo controller.
Yes.
There's actually a thing in Matter called binding, where it allows two Matter devices to be bound together. They will not require a hub, and if you removed your hub, those two things will still communicate directly with each other. It'll make them quick, fast, and not reliant on that intermediary. But no platform supports Matter binding yet. None of them, even HomeKit. But Eve is doing it. So Eve is only able to do it on HomeKit and using Eve's own app. But Eve is essentially creating like the thermo controller and then the wireless remote. Those are bound together through Matter to allow them to talk to each other directly. So that's just more little problems with Matter and this rollout.
Wow. Okay. I think I get it. Basically, right now, look for the release of Matter 1.2. Look for Apple supporting Matter 1.2 with some software update. And when that happens, if you have a device, maybe like a robot vacuum or dishwasher, that thirdly supports Matter 1.2, then you could have that robot vacuum or dishwasher in Apple Home, and now everything's copacetic. Right? That's it.
Yeah. So maybe
Okay.
17.1 will get this as an update if it doesn't come out in 17, because we still don't have a release date on Matter 1.2 or any of these supported devices. But I think this is something to be excited by. This is our first category add to Matter. The first one that'll bring new device types to HomeKit. This is what we've been waiting for. This is a reason to use Matter accessories. So
Okay.
I'm going to be optimistic for the moment.
I'm down. Okay. I'm excited. Robot vacuums finally being in the Home app would be amazing. Hopefully companies update them quickly. But all right, very, very cool. I understand now. Matter 1.2. It's the next one to come. It's going to be the big one, hopefully, that has support. Oh my goodness, we have even more news and some little reviews, but I want to thank our second and final sponsor. It was just one of my favorites, I have to say, Zocdoc. Zocdoc. Oh my goodness, Zocdoc is a free app that you can get on your iPhone, because that's where apps go, okay? And it's a free app where you find amazing doctors and book appointments online. Guys, I can't tell you enough. I have used Zocdoc multiple times. I used it even recently to make an appointment for myself. I don't know if people are, stuff is kind of going around right now. There's some sicknesses. There was sickness in the family, and I was like, I need to get some eye drops for this thing. I don't want to be gross about it. I was getting a little bit of pink eye. No details, no trigger warning, but I was like, listen, I need to just talk to a doctor. I literally opened the Zocdoc app on my phone that morning. It was like 7 in the morning. I searched for a telehealth appointment for a doctor, and I knew they would take my insurance because I've scanned my insurance card into the Zocdoc app so they know my insurance company and my plan. I booked a telehealth for an appointment 2 hours later. 2 hours later. Now, your mileage may vary, but I got one 2 hours from the time I booked it. Telehealth. I was on a video call in the Zocdoc app with the doctor. They said, yeah, your eye looks gross. I'm going to put in a prescription for eye drops. The prescription goes directly to the pharmacy that I specified in the Zocdoc app. I picked it up later that day. Within like 4 or 5 hours from waking up, having the appointment, I had the prescription in hand. Listen, that is the power of Zocdoc. They can take that tagline and run with it. Absolutely, I've done it. They have appointments for kids. You can specify, just show me doctors that take kids and pediatricians, telehealth in person. And if you want to go in person, a lot of appointments can be made within 24 hours. I'm sorry, I get a little excited about Zocdoc just because it's just made life so much easier rather than trying to find a doctor and stuff. And I know you use Zocdoc in the past too. You're a fan, right?
Absolutely. We've used it for plenty of things. Faith's favorite thing is the fact that she was able to go book an in-person appointment at like an urgent care place nearby.
Yes.
And she walked in. The waiting room is full of people who had just, walked in and put their name on a piece of paper. And Faith walked in the room, and within like 2 minutes, they called her name. And she goes back and just walks past everyone. So they watched her walk into the room.
In slow motion.
And then just go back almost right away while they're sitting there with like their partner and 3 kids jumping on them.
Oh, so
and
sad.
She's just like, peace.
They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to experience that.
They should have listened to our podcast.
They should have listened to this podcast. They should have listened. They go to Zocdoc. So we're talking about booking appointments with thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed doctors and specialists. You can filter specifically for ones who take your insurance, located near you, and treat almost any condition you're looking for. So here's what you do. Go to Zocdoc.com/HKI. And yes, you could go straight to the App Store and just search for it, but don't do that because then they won't know you came from this right here, this spot on HomeKit Insider. So go to Zocdoc.com/HKI, just the letters. Download the Zocdoc app for free, and then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/HKI, Zocdoc.com/HKI. Thank you, Zocdoc, for sponsoring this episode. Now, you stuck something in here while we were talking. I don't remember seeing this before the show started. And now it's one of the brands that I know and love, Lutron, and you have a bullet under there called Switch. What's happening? What happened?
Well, they've introduced a new switch.
Okay.
Okay, so if you guys remember, we have something like this guy. So they've gone into the paddle switch world, right? New modern aesthetic. This is like their updated version of their switches. So this is their dimmer switch. This thing goes up and down.
This is the Diva,
yes,
and the Claro. The Claro is the non-dimming switch.
Yes. So they now have, Steven, a new... Hold on, how do I make it not be in this thing? This is not a review. This is just a hands-on. Because I don't even know how to make this come out of this thing. This is how it's in the box.
Lutron, if you're listening, I want one of these too. Hello? My name is Steven Robles. I love Lutron.
It's in a mounting plate.
Switches all over the house. Oh, it's in the mounting plate. So what is it? I mean, it's okay. What is it? Is it a switch?
This is their new Pico remote.
Oh, the Pico remote? What? That's a remote?
Paddle switch design. Yes, it's just in a mounting plate at the moment, but it's just a Pico remote. So this is a new Pico that has the paddle switch design. So instead of like the 5 buttons they have now, it's a simple paddle switch that you can mount, on your wall and put a faceplate around it, or you can. There's a cover on top. That's what's doing this to me. But yeah, this is a new Pico remote that you can use, and it has a couple cool features. So first, obviously, it can show up in HomeKit and stuff, and use it just like any of the other Pico remotes that Lutron makes.
Yes.
But when you pair it with their actual like dimmer switch, it does a cool thing where when you like turn it on, it'll match the brightness level. So it'll give you like that 3-way design with an added Pico. So you can mount this in your wall. You got a dimmer switch, HomeKit switch, all of that control. Put this elsewhere on the other side of the room, and like with the regular Pico remote, that's not an option, right? If you had a dimmer on one side and you had a Pico, you would hit the on button, your lights come on to 100%.
All the way, yeah, 100%.
Now you hit like on, and it'll just go to that brightness level that you set on the dimmer switch.
Nice.
So they are in sync. So this is really cool.
It's
new
gonna
Pico
be
remote design.
Sorry, you said in sync.
They're also cheap, like comparatively. Like these things are, I don't even want to say a price that's completely wrong, but I think like $20.
Okay, are they out now? Are they available now?
Yeah, these are available now. So Pico paddle remote's available as a standalone. It also can be bundled with the Diva Smart Dimmer. I'm going to be setting these up, I think, in Harrison's room, so that I have a Pico remote that I can control, like from his chair and stuff, or that he could control when he's older. But I want to put in like a fan control, a dimmer light switch, and then we already have the Pico, another Pico for his shades. So I want to put in like a 3-way thing there, and have fan control, light control, and shade control all right there on the wall. But I really like the new paddle switch design. I like this more modern look for sure.
You called it. $20. $20 for the paddle Pico remote. It's available at Home Depot and Lowe's right now. I just went from the Lutron website, and that's where they point you to. So there it is. Very cool. Listen, I just have to say, I mean, we've had a couple like power blips. We had a hurricane a couple weeks ago, and we live in Florida. Any switch gives me some issue eventually. I did a video the other day, and I opened the Home app, and it said 13 devices not responding, and I was like, yep, that's about right. Can I tell you, the devices that always respond, never show me as disconnected, never have to reset, never do anything with after I set them up, it's the Lutron switches. I just have to say, any other switch, I don't want to call them all out, and I won't do it. I'm not going to do it. Any other brand, but Lutron is the one brand. Yes, it does require a hub, but I have to tell you, the responsiveness of those lights, I have the ceiling fan control, I have switches, and I have dimmers. Never do I have to worry about their connectivity, if there's power blips. It's just amazing. And so I actually think I'm going to get some Diva and Claros after this episode and replace some of the other switches I have, just because I never have to worry about it. They're so good. Lutron. My goodness. Okay.
Steven's going to go buy some Diva remotes, and I'm going to go buy a cherry tree. So we're going to go each buy some things.
Here we go, cherry tree. Okay, now Mophie, this is a Yahoo Finance article you put in our notes.
I was trying to find the PR for it. I couldn't find the actual PR page. This looks like their actual PR. This wasn't written by anyone. This looks like it's written by VAG. because I don't think we had an article on this because it came out like the day we. If everyone remembers last week's episode, we had Qi2 announcements from Belkin and Anchor coming out of IFA. We had AI articles on those. I don't know if we had one on Zag that I found because it was like, again, like the day after or something. So I just found their PR here, which apparently was posted to Yahoo Finance for some reason.
Well, this is just all the stuff. Mophie. So is Zag the parent company and they bought Mophie? Is that what it is?
Zag owns several brands. They own Invisible Shield, the screen protectors. Okay. They own Gear 4 cases.
Gotcha.
They own Mophie.
Mophie, got it.
There might be another one.
Okay, so this is
so like when you go to like Zag's website, you'll see all these sub brands.
Different. Gotcha. So these are made by Zag, but they are Mophie Power Qi2 devices. So you have like the Power Station mini stand for $70. This is going to be a Qi2 charger, which we expect to see at tomorrow's event on the iPhone 15. That it's going to support Qi2. You got the 3-in-1 stand for $130. Qi2, the wireless charging vent mount. Now that'll be a big deal because right now, to get MagSafe, you have the Belkin Boost Charge Plus Pro Max car adapter, and it's like $100 for the Belkin one, or maybe even $120. So a Qi2 car charging vent mount for $70. That's pretty sweet. And if you don't care about charging in the car, they have a $30 mount as well. But that looks pretty cool. I'm excited for this stuff. Qi2. It's going to be a new world out there. A whole new world.
Get out of here. Can I mute you?
No. Very cool. We'll put that Yahoo Finance link in the show notes as well. But anyway, I don't know why I'm so down on Yahoo Finance. I really don't care. It's Yahoo. It's fine. Yahoo Groups. They used to be a real thing.
It's actually pronounced Yahoo.
Yahoo. See, we both sang this episode. All right, we got some quick reviews. We only have a few minutes left. I just want to mention the Aqara U100 HomeKey Smart Lock. Andrew reviewed it on episode 158, if you want to go back to that. I finally got around to installing mine, and I just have to say, it's my first experience with HomeKey because I had not had a Level Lock Plus or a Schlage encode or any other thing. And so I just have to say, HomeKey is really cool as a feature. Like tapping my Apple Watch to the thing and it unlocks is awesome. The U100 I really like because you can unlock it like 18 different ways. You could do the passcodes, the fingerprint. We talked all about this. It's great for the kids too because my sons who are both in our like home Apple Home family, as soon as I enabled the HomeKey feature, they immediately had access. And so like they didn't have to do anything on their devices. I didn't have to do anything to their accounts in the Home app. Because they're already a part of the home as residents, once HomeKey was enabled, my son held his Apple Watch SE up to the lock and it unlocked because everyone in the family has access to that HomeKey. You still can't share HomeKeys outside the family, even temporarily, which is bananas. Like, it's ridiculous. I don't know why you still can't
do that. It's coming in 16.4.
Whatever, so weird. And then I also realized you can actually add the passcodes for family members in the Home app as well. You don't even have to do that in the Aqara app. You all manage in the Home app, which is cool. Fingerprint scanning, you do have to do in the Aqara app. But just really cool overall. I really like it. Again, the passcode, fingerprint scanning is great for the kids. It is, it's a very utilitarian design. The plastic slidey things, I remember Andrew actually said, like, not a great design trying to get that battery cover off. The little spudger is, like, not great. I agree. Like, it's not great. But it is also, right now, like, as we record, it is $165 on Amazon because it's, like, $190 with a $25 coupon. And so it is, like, half the price of the Schlage encode and the Level Lock Plus. But you get HomeKey, the fingerprint, you get all of that. So that's pretty cool. And there's one feature that I discovered, too. It's called, like, the passcode, no peep passcode. And basically what you could do on this is, like, you could just press, like, a bunch of numbers randomly. And then as long as you do your 6-digit entry passcode somewhere in that line of numbers, it will unlock. And so if you have someone, like, literally breathing over your shoulder, or you just feel like someone's watching you with, like, a pirate-style monocle telescope, and you just want to, like, hide your actual code, you can just press, like, 1, 3, like, a bunch of numbers, you do your code, do numbers after your code, and then once you stop, it'll actually unlock. And so I thought that was a pretty cool feature. But I agree with Andrew's assessment back from 158. But HomeKey is cool. I wish you could share it outside the home. But there it is. There it is. Now, do you have the next little mini review? Do you have the Brilliant panel in hand, or did you install it? Do you have it? Oh my word! There it is.
We've got it.
There it is, the Brilliant panel.
So a couple things. So this is their new one that is wired,
right?
Instead of being like mounted in your wall. So a couple things. We'll do a bigger review next time because we're running out of time. I want to mention one more thing that launched this week. My first thing, which it's not a great thing. I really really like these things a lot. It clips on to a flush mount plate. So you mount this plate here, and then the front piece just slides on there. And these front pieces are exactly the same as the existing 2-gang switches that they have now. What I don't love is this.
Yeah, the cable. Yeah. Oh my goodness. That is a long cable.
What do they want you to do? There is no cable management solution. And even, I wish I had the box sitting next to me, even on the box, the cable looks like a really nice Apple-esque white kink-free cable. But this is like an off-the-shelf cable. I don't know if you can see this. Like, hold up to my face. There's like black lines and stuff down the cable. So it doesn't even look nice, like mounted on your wall.
Oh, that's a shame.
And it's also just so long. This is why I didn't have it plugged in, because it's so long. So if I put this on my wall, it's just going to be like, okay, put it behind, a table. But if you had this, like, it's so big. Now, part of the reason they did make it big is because you could mount this in your wall. If you drilled a hole, drop it down, you could pull this line out the bottom and keep things really clean if you want to go that route. So mount this in the wall or on the wall with the cable. But I just thought that was weird. And then it's powered with their own brick, which is nice. I'm glad they actually include like their own power brick with this. And then it's USB-A. I will drag a company for including USB-A in a current type product. Like, it's just unacceptable. If you had like a multi-charger there, like maybe you had a setup where you're going to a few different things and you got, a Ugreen Anchor, pick a brand, multi-charger sitting there, everyone's kind of moving to USB-C. More and more are dropping the USB-A support, so it's going to be harder. And again, like when you're buying a product, it's supposed to last for years. And if you're buying a product now, that means 3 or 4 years from now, you're still going to be using USB-A there. And it gives you very little options. So... not to drag the product completely, because I think it's really, really cool, and I'm going to play around with more and get the HomeKit stuff set up, and then we'll revisit how it works functionality-wise. Okay. I think it's a great idea to make it wireless like this, and I'm such a big fan on my other switches. So we'll get this set up, we'll get it going, but I wish they had a better management solution for this cable.
Same. Yeah, that cable's a little janky. So... I'm thinking about getting one just because I think I like the Sonos control idea, where giving people kind of like a physical control to start music without having to mess with the device. I think the kids will appreciate that, but we'll see. I'll wait your review. And now you got one more thing to show off, possibly, I assume?
I do. A lot of good things here, coupled with one bad one. I hope people appreciate the honesty in these reviews, because I like these brands, but I'm going to tell you when there's things that I don't like about products.
Sure.
This is the new Nomad Base 1.
Oh, yes.
Like, it's a 3-in-1. There we go.
Yeah.
This is a 3-in-1 MagSafe charger. So you have your MagSafe charging pad on one side, you have your Apple Watch puck here, and then behind that is a new depression for your AirPods. So if we want to see them side by side, this is the new 3-in-1, and this is actually their 2-in-1. So they're nearly the same dimensions,
footprint,
just with that extra Qi charging pad for your AirPods.
That's cool.
Soft touch silicone surface over here, really nice feel. It's like the Apple Watch puck. Everything here is like metal, super heavy weighted. Glass here, which just gives like this floating look for the MagSafe pad. Really nice, all Apple certified for both of these. USB-C input with a braided USB-C cable in the box. All USB-C to USB-C on this.
Right.
One little thing that is just nice to have is, if we've seen these before, this is the one from ESR that does something cool with their Apple Watch one. They actually put a little magnet, which just pulls it into place, and it's just like a subtle thing that I think is like a nice touch. I think more people should do that.
Yes.
I would like to see that happen. This is kind of behind this, so as you place your AirPods down, there is a depression so it fits well, but I just think it would be nice to kind of just properly pull it in nice and snug for anyone who has like the latest generation AirPods, and it wouldn't matter for anyone else. Now the downside part, Steven.
Right.
That I am frustrated by.
Oh boy.
It doesn't have a fast charging Apple Watch puck.
I was going to ask. That was my next question.
When I asked about it, they did say, like, well, the product's been in development for quite some time, so we still use the original puck. And I'm sorry, but the fast charge module has been out for years. Like, we're on the third Apple Watch that is going to support fast charge.
It's been 2 years.
I guess fourth if you count the Ultra, but...
Series 7 came out 2 years ago, and that was the first fast charging Apple Watch. So 2 years.
Yeah. And I just think it's unacceptable for, like, it's been so long that Apple's discontinuing the slow module. Like, you won't even be able to buy them. And it makes me really frustrated because I love the charger so much. I think the design is fantastic. I think it looks great. And then we just, take a step back with that slower charging module. And there's no reason in the last 2 years, if this was in development for more than 2 years, that they couldn't have made the design decision at some point to switch to that fast charging module. I can't use one without it now because it's just painfully slow. Yeah. And I just don't think it's okay anymore. And I'm seeing people who are posting online like, this is the best 3-in-1 in the market. I'm like, it could be. It really could be, for the flat style, if it had that fast charge puck. I just don't think it is okay anymore, and it frustrates me a little bit.
That is unfortunate. I will also not buy anything that is not fast charging on the Apple Watch. It does make a huge difference, especially if you go to the Ultra. Like, new Apple Watches are going to be announced tomorrow as you listen and watch this episode, and there's going to be fast charging on all of it. So if you upgrade to one of these new watches, once you experience Apple Watch fast charging, like, you just can't go back because you don't think about it as much anymore. Like, before, you have to think about, okay, when do I charge my Apple Watch? If I want to wear it to sleep track, do I wear it for a certain amount of time, or do I charge it in the morning while I'm getting ready, and then at night when I go to bed? And that was usually my routine. Like, I had to charge it in those 2 spots in the day to keep my Series 6 or earlier at a battery level that I found, like, reasonable. With the Apple Watch Ultra and fast charging, I mean, the battery life is amazing. But even with my Series 7, I knew I could just throw it on the charger for 20 or 30 minutes one time a day, and I was good. And that was, like, kind of the huge life change benefit of the fast charging. So it does. I know it feels like a small thing if you're not experienced the fast charging yet, but it's a big deal, I think, once you get it. And
especially
it just makes,
for the Ultra with such a larger battery. Like, it is a larger battery there. And I swear, I have not done the math on it, but in my head, like, it feels like it takes almost 2 hours to charge it from 0, and I feel like I can get it there almost all the way there in less than an hour on a fast charge one.
For sure.
So I don't think it's double. Apple says like 30%, but I swear it is significantly faster than that in real life. So that's a bummer, especially when you're looking at a premium product. Like, it's like, hey, here's a premium one, and yet you aren't doing like a premium feature. I know you want to keep the COGS down, your cost of goods down, but that can't be that substantial of a hit. I would pay more, like, just to get fast charge.
I also feel like with nightstand mode coming with iOS 17, which we didn't talk about in this episode, but most likely it's going to be publicly launched next week as you hear this episode. Usually there's like a release candidate that comes out right after the Apple event, and then it's available to the public the next week, maybe Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Once nightstand mode is available, I also am not going to consider any charging thing that just lays flat. Like, I want it elevated. What did I say? Nightstand mode?
You said nightstand.
Oh, so it's called standby mode, not nightstand.
Yes.
Right. Nightstand is the Apple Watch feature, I think, right? When you put your Apple Watch on the charger. I meant, everybody, listen. You all knew what I meant, okay? don't get at me. Okay. Anyway, standby mode with iOS 17, like, I want any iPhone charger to hold it up at an angle, so I have standby mode on my phone. So that's another thing of, like, probably wouldn't consider the flat thing. But anyway.
It depends on where it is. Like, I use a different one by my bedside, but I like stuff like this for on my desk. I like for even, like, filming top-down shots on stuff like this to give a little bit of elevated look. Like, there's a lot of use case for these, and I think it definitely depends on where you're charging your phone, where it makes sense. For standby versus not standby.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, listen, we love Nomad. We've sung their praises many times, but put the fast charger on there. Stand night by mode. Stay in by night mode. Anyway, comment on everything. You got to watch this episode because Andrew showed off his Lego, and we showed off a bunch of stuff on camera. So go to youtube.com/HomeKit Insider. Subscribe, watch there, comment, all the things. Leave us a 5-star rating, or if you do a 3-star rating, but your review, but don't do a 3-star. Listen, even if just because you don't have access to a HomeKit device, don't take it out on us, okay? I mean, we can't,
leave a 3-star written review, but rank it 5 stars. That's fine. Exactly. Even if you're like, this is a 2-star show. Well, just leave us 5 stars and then explain in the review why you think why it deserves 2 stars. That's totally fine. You can do that in Apple Podcasts. You can rate us in Spotify. And, of course, thanks for tuning in. Next time, we'll have even more to talk about after the Apple event. So stay tuned, appleinsider.com. More coming to you. Catch you next time.